Alright guys, today I have the Lyman Turbo Sonic 6000 here. I just picked this up. So we're going to test it out and see how good it does. Supposedly this thing is capable of doing 1,300 9mm cases in less than 10 minutes. Yeah, less than 10 minutes. Or 450 308 cases in less than 10 minutes. But, so right now I have 1,000 9mm cases ready to go. A lot of brass. So it's less than what they say it can do, what it's capable of. And I'm going to throw in a really tarnished 30-06 case here, just to see if it, see how it does. This one actually went through the tumbler, so it's nice and smooth and shiny, but it's still not brass colored anymore because it's old. It has stamped, but I guess it's 79, so it's not that old, but you know, brass. So we're going to throw that one in there just to see what this chemical stuff does. There we go. It's yeah, the concentrated cartridge case cleaning solution by Lyman. Big bottle of it, about $22, $24 or something. Anybody who tries cleaning brass with this product, with this machine I should say, any of the super Turbo Sonic, Ultrasonic cleaners, whether it's Hornady or this, you got to use some kind of chemical. I've heard of people trying to use just water. I don't know how anybody thinks that that's going to work, but you know, I don't know, it might look slightly different, but chances are probably not. It says on the bottle here, the ratio is a ½ ounce to every 20 ounces of water. You add ½ ounce of this chemical to every 20 ounces of distilled water. They recommend distilled water. It's supposed to help, you know, the product work better. Otherwise, you can use tap water, but it's probably not going to have as good a cleaning results as it would if you use distilled water. For medium and heavy duty, use 1 ounce to every 20 ounces of distilled water. So either a ½ ounce or an ounce per every 20 ounces. I don't know how much water I'm going to put in there, but I'll find out here in a minute. So I haven't even taken this thing out of the box yet, so I'll get to that here in a minute. What I've been using before is the Turbo 1200 tumbler by Lyman. Also, I like Lyman products. I got the T-Mag 2 press, which I have in a video. As you can see, if you look at my videos, I might even post a link in the description. And that works. I tried to prime in the cases before I tumbled it, figuring maybe it'll help clean the primer pockets out. Bad idea. It doesn't really do anything. It might clean it a little bit, but the media constantly gets stuck in the primer pocket like the flash hole. So you end up having to spend a lot more time getting the media out of there and then washing all the cases because they get all this media dust and residue all over them, so it's kind of a pain. So this thing should save a lot of time, and supposedly, like I said, it does it in about 10 minutes. So we'll see how that works. This retails around $260, somewhere around there, give or take. So it's if it performs like they say it does. This is a drastic reduction in time wasted cleaning brass, because the tumbler, you might set cases in there for an hour or two, and they may or may not look that great when they're done, depending on your media, depending on how bad they are. So once again, we'll see how this works. Owner's manual. Alright. What are we looking at there? So, it's nice, it's like stainless steel tub in here. Got a nice little basket for all the, you know, whatever you're going to put in here. And supposedly you can also do, I think it's up to 4 handgun frames also for cleaning parts and other things. It can fit up to 4 handgun frames. Got a little tube for draining the fluid out at the side. There's a little port you can connect it to, drain all the chemical out into a bin or whatever you want to drain it into. So that's handy there. It kind of reminds me of a printer. Kind of has that plastic feel. Like, I don't know. It's almost like it should be an HP product or something. Not knocking Lyman, but it just feels awfully printer-esque. Got a nice little, also like a printer. It's got a nice little touchpad up here, a digital display. So that should be helpful figuring out what we're doing and where we're at in the process. Shows the temperatures, what it's set at, and what the actual temperature is, whether the heater is on, and a bunch of other garbage. So let's go. Where is the numbers? Here so you can see what the back of it looks like. It looks like the back of a printer. Not much. Alright. Plug this beast in. Okay. The little flip switch down here. So that's kind of interesting why they wouldn't have it on the front. Unlike a printer, the power button that would be up here, this one actually has it on the back. So that's not like a printer. Get this garbage out of the way, have a clean work environment. Alright. So let's turn it on once, see if it beeps at me or blows up. Cool, it's all green. Nice little digital display there. Like I said, I don't want it set at. Operating instructions: open the lid, remove the basket, place items into the basket, then put basket into the cleaning tank, add water to a level between minimum and maximum. There actually is lines in the side of it that say min and max. I'll get you a closer look. So here's the minimum and maximum line for when you're putting the water and chemical in there. Just to kind of give you an idea. You know, you don't want to go over a certain amount, you don't want to go under it because it's not going to do a whole lot then. Nice digital display up here. I have to figure out how to do everything yet, so we'll get to that. Alright, I put the water in there. I used a water bottle right around 16 ounces. I put about 8 bottles of water in there. That gives me 128 ounces. You divide that by 20, because that's the ratio of 20 to every half ounce of 20 ounces to every half ounce of chemical that you put in there, which gives me, 128 divided by 20 is 6.4. So if I'm going to use a half ounce, then it's only 3.2 ounces that I'd use. Or if I want to use a full ounce for every 20 ounces of water I use, then I go with 6.4 ounces. So I'm probably going to do kind of happy medium in there, and just probably give it around 5, somewhere around there. Just kind of eyeball it, because I don't really have something that measures that small, but I'm going to kind of eyeball it and see how it goes. There's also temperature settings on here. It does have a heater. You can set it to 40 degrees Celsius, 45, 50, 55, and 60 degrees, all Celsius, which converts into 104 degrees, 113, 122, 131, and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. That'll come when I use it a lot more and try the different ways, different heat temperatures. So we'll see how that goes. But I set it in the second lowest setting, which is 45 degrees Celsius or 113. I figure it's not a huge difference between each setting. just figured I'd try that and see how it works. But I'm going to add the chemical here, and then we'll get it running and go from there. This whole bottle itself is 32 ounces. This is, it gives you quite a bit of use, I should say. I probably shouldn't pour this. Alright, probably used more than I really needed to, but we'll see how that works. If it is more than I needed, or more than I recommended, or more than the maximum amount, then I should get cleaner cases, right? So we'll see. I'm going to change the time, put it in there for the 10 minutes like I said it's supposed to, and once again I have 1,000 cases of 9mm Luger in here, and that 130-06 case. So, like I said, it does it 1,300 9mm cases in less than 10 minutes. So, we'll see how it goes. It's blue. And it has the countdown going right now. It doesn't really make a whole lot of noise at all. It feels like there's a fan in there. Very, very quiet compared to any tumbler. So, we'll give it the 10 minutes like it needs, which is now actually 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and we'll see how they look. So if you can kind of hear that, it might be hard to hear. This camera doesn't have the greatest sound, but does not make a whole lot of noise at all. So you could have it, easily inside the house. I have this out in the garage simply because you're dealing with chemicals. There's a possibility of spilling stuff or it leaking. I'd rather not ruin furniture or, carpeting or anything inside the house. So, we'll see. It's so much quieter than the tumbler, that's for sure. So, as far as noise, this thing produces a minimum amount. And, so we'll see the amount of time it takes, 10 minutes. Even if you consider this noisy, having to deal with it for 10 minutes instead of several hours or even an hour, it's a big difference. All right, we got just under half a minute left, and then we'll see what kind of results we have. Apparently, I didn't set something right with the heater. The heater light isn't on. The actual temperature is still lower than the set temperature, so I don't know why that is. I guess I didn't. I thought, I had it set right, but I guess not. So, there we go. It shuts off by itself. Yeah. It's hard to say. There are still some cases that have some tarnish on them. Let's see. I will use this old crappy scissors here. Actually, those cases look really clean. Alright, well, I'll get digging some of these out to show you guys, but the results look very promising, actually. I mean, I just from the looks of it right now, I don't see really anything in there. There might be a couple of cases that have a little more debris in them, but you can always set it to run longer if need be. So I'll dig some of these out and we'll go from there. So that's one of the cases I just pulled out. This one, the primer pocket is still dirty. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can see. Let me try to get this chemical out of here. It's not much different there. But the case itself, the outside is pretty clean, but some of these were ready to begin with. Let's get an idea what the inside of the case looks like here. It's kind of hard to see the inside of the case, but it is very clean in there. Shiny. So, it cleans the inside pretty good. You can see that one's cleaned out pretty good. That one's pretty good too. And they don't have to be perfect. I mean, when you really consider, you know, what reloading is, you know, you're trying to save money. Obviously, you don't want to ruin your equipment by, you know, ramming dirty cases up into dies and all that stuff. That could be expensive and could screw things up for, you know, later down the road when your dies start wearing, and yeah, it's not good. So, so far the results are pretty good. I'm just gonna probably change the time and run them a little longer. I know people sometimes stir the cases after like 5-10 minutes or so. So I might do that too. Obviously the 30-06 case, you can see right there, it looks about the same. So really tarnished stuff where the brass is like a totally different color. You know, that's the minimum setting on here, like the you know, 10 minutes, it's not going to work. So, and I don't know if that's even going to do anything if I go, you know, an hour. Really, that's probably beyond being able to be polished without some kind of very coarse buffing or some kind of thing. Something along those lines anyways. So you can see cases look pretty clean, but there's still some work to be done. I mean, there's some primer pockets that look pretty damn shiny compared to what they were. So, yeah, it might just take a little bit more time to get that last little bit. That chemical seems to work even when the machine isn't on. When I first started pouring it in there, it started bubbling up, and so it's definitely some kind of chemical that's working all the time. So, I'll give it another 5 minutes and try to figure out this heat setting. But I'll probably just actually leave it as it is for now. I know that the temperature actually went back down, so maybe it was heating up, it just didn't have enough time or something, who knows. So I'll run it for another 5 minutes and we'll go from there. Back on 5. You just hit the time button here. You can change it to whatever you want, up to a half hour. And this, according to the owner's manual, the thing does have an overheating protection system, so it might... How does that work? Well, anyways, it protects itself from overheating, so, you know, if it's like flashing something, warning you temperature, well, that's why. Alright, coming up on half a minute again left for the extra 5 minutes cleaning that I decided to do, judging by the results of the first batch, the first 10 minutes. So we'll see what it looks like here. Once again, the temperature went back up, but it's still only about 40, and it's set at 45 degrees Celsius. So once again, I didn't play around with the temperature setting. When I put it in for another 5 minutes, I figure I'm going to start a new batch, kind of get an idea. If I didn't set something right, which I probably didn't. There we go. So, let's see. Alright, so we're going to take the cases out, put them in there for 15 minutes, the first 10 minutes, and then, you know, the extra 5 minutes that it is. So 15 minutes total. It's a little basket. Fill it up. Let it drip out pretty good. Another thing, benefit of having the primer pockets punched and getting all the, you know, the primers out of the cases is that they will drain out 10,000 times better than if you leave the primers in there. So I don't, you know, it doesn't really make sense to leave the primers in there in the cases when you're going to use a sonic cleaner. So. One thing I don't quite like about this, and I just kind of noticed now, is this basket. The handles are very thin. With you know, 1,000 cases that I have in here right now, it seems like it's a lot of weight on this little basket, and those handles just don't seem like they'd be adequate. You know, they're doing fine now, but if you start putting, even if I had the extra, the 300 more cases that I supposedly could put in here, who knows? I mean, that might be the extra weight that it takes for these things to bust. But hopefully that's not the case. So let me shut this here, turn it off, switch in the back. Don't need that on anymore. We'll see what we got here. Alright, well that is one of the cases I pulled out of there. There still is a small bit of residue in there. You can kind of see a little bit of the black in there around the crevice or the corner of the primer pocket. But the majority of it is clean. Once again, it's kind of hard to see with this camera, but that should be just fine. That there isn't nothing on the side of the primer pocket wall. It just looks like there is, but you know, depending on the light, you can see it's just all clean on the sides. So I would probably just load it as it is. I don't think it'll cause any issues with that stuff at the very bottom. I don't think there's enough there to cause any seating issues with the primers at all, and it's definitely a lot better than what it was. Alright, here are the results. Pulled a bunch of cases out, started looking at them. Primer pockets, depending on what brand they are, they were pretty clean. I didn't check every single case, you know, to look at every primer pocket to see, oh, you know, this brand is better than this brand, it's cleaner than this brand to start with. So I'm going to assume that the ones that are cleaner right now are probably ones that were pretty clean to begin with. It looks like it's the Federal cases, which is the ones on the left. The ones on the right are just mixed. There's some Blazer, there's Remington, and some other ones there. WCC head stamp, you know, other whatever. So it, you know, I don't know. I have to play around with the settings. Maybe the temperature needs to be higher. Maybe it just needs to be in there longer. But I think it just kind of goes to show that just because it says something on the box doesn't mean that's, you know, there's fine print somewhere that probably says, you know, it all varies. So it's kind of false advertising, but it isn't. I still think this cleaner worked great. The outsides of the cases are very clean. The insides are also fairly clean. There's, you know, a couple here and there that aren't the cleanest. It's hard to see. This one here is one that's not very clean. I actually, you know, I take that back. It just looks kind of tarnished in there. It really isn't dirty or anything, but it looks dirty, but it isn't. But still, it's like, you know, they show the brass on the box, and it all comes out, you know, this shiny inside, that shiny outside, and cleaner than that, you know, on the primer pockets. So it's kind of hard to really say what they were doing to get it that clean, you know. But I gotta play around with the settings and find out what the best setting is, and to get the cleanest brass is if you were, you know, trying to, you know, sell it or something. If you were to go out and sell it, you want it really shiny, something that really appeals to somebody when they see it, you know, almost like brand new off the shelf kind of brass. So I'll play around with the settings and maybe make an update video when I figure that out. But those are the results as they are right now. I might run them a little bit longer to try to get those other primer pockets clean, see what I can do about that, and I'll go from there. But otherwise, the majority of these cases, you know, those, I'd run those like they are. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, even when you clean them by hand, you'd spend, you know, a minute on each case and get it maybe a little cleaner than that, maybe not by much. And even that, sometimes they're not that even that clean. So, you know, good results, not perfect, but I just got it. I'm just learning. You know, another thing, just like I said, don't believe everything that you read on the outside of the box. I kind of came into this, you know, thinking that it probably was a little out of reach. You know, 10 minutes of cleaning and the cases are absolutely perfect. It doesn't say that they're absolutely perfect, but, you know, the picture that they show right next to it shows that they're supposed to be kind of perfect, but once again, it's the fine print somewhere that says, yeah, you know, it depends. Results may vary. So there you go. Those are the results. I still recommend, so far, from what I can tell, I recommend this. Yeah, it's a big chunk of money, $260 plus the cleaning fluid, so you'd be looking at $300 plus tax if you got 2 bottles of cleaning fluid or a bottle of cleaning fluid and something else, whatever it may be. There's other stuff. There's additives that you can put besides that chemical in here that I've heard people use, so that's another option, I guess. Another thing I'll test, maybe in another video. And I'll go over some other things to try to see if we can get some very, very, you know, flawless, clean brass out of here using this machine. But so far I like it. Like I said, I just got to, you know, learn the different settings, learn what works best for the, you know, for what I want. But I don't need it much cleaner than this. You know, the primer pockets are the only issue that I see here. The rest of the brass looks really good. The one that I put in there, one of the small cases, 9mm, that was kind of tarnished, didn't clean up. I mean, the other side of it did, but I kind of figured, just like this case here, it's still, the tarnish color is still there, so I kind of figured those won't clean up very good. Maybe there's another solution to, you know, another setting or another chemical, or maybe the temperature, I don't know, but I doubt that would change that. So those are the results, but I recommend it. So far, it's I think even if you play around with the settings for, you know, several hours, the first time you do it, you know, it's learning, so it's going to take a while. But then every time after that, it's going to be so much quicker than you know, tumbling your brass. So I would recommend the Lyman Turbo Sonic 6000. You know, get it, try it out, or, you know, wait, and I'll, you know, somebody else probably has covered it already, but I'll try to, you know, get another second video out there when I figure out the settings better. It'll probably be a couple of weeks. I don't usually get a whole lot of time to do this stuff, so when I do, it's, you know, it'll probably be another couple weeks from now, so I'll hopefully get a video up here, kind of going over the rest of it in more detail once I figure it out. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and happy shooting and happy reloading.